Lord.
All right, we're live. Oh shit. Let's go to baseball.
There we go.
This game's canceled though, right?
Postponed.
I really like Cleveland. I like Cleveland
I
a
know.
lot.
It's a shame.
All right, Rays at Reds is our first one. What's up, everyone? Hope everyone had a lovely weekend. Betting wise, it certainly wasn't very lovely. Actually, well, Saturday was cool, but Friday night sucked, and then Sunday sucked also. You know what? I won a few dollars on NASCAR.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the small victories that count. No, it's not. The big ones count a lot more. Yeah, so we have to do MLB, and then I'm going to do NBA right after. So let's just jump right in. Rays at Reds. Oh, we start with a game that I skipped. I wrote Tampa or pass.
Yeah, I don't like this one because I think it couldn't be a bigger nightmare spot for Tampa. They're coming off a series against Toronto and Boston. Now they have to fly across the border to play this lowly Reds team. Hunter Green's main two pitches, fastball and slider, Tampa has absolutely annihilated both of them, leading the MLB in ISO, WOBA, slug, and both by a mile. I'm just gonna pass here. Don't have a side that I want to play.
Yeah, same. All right, next game. Giants at Marlins. Okay, so I got an SGP for this one. SGP. If you're wondering if it's on the VIP ticket, it's not because Prop Beaver vetoed it.
I mean, it's an SGP when we have an actual play that isn't mids.
This is not a mids SGP. This is going to hit. First of all, everyone in the world is on the under in this one. Understandably so. The Giants lineup sucks against lefties, and Luzardo's pitching, who's a savage lefty. What is his strikeout total at? I bet it's at like 8.5.
It's at 7.5.
Yeah, he's a monster. He should rip through the Giants lineup. And then Logan Webb. Oh, I switched the colors. Luzardo's in orange. Whatever. Logan Webb, he's flying under the radar. People think he's off to a terrible start, but his numbers aren't that terrible. But I think this is a prime spot for him to put up a really good start. That's why everyone's betting the under. But the way that this year has been going, I thought it was a good spot to get great value on an over teased down. The reason I'm taking the Giants here is I think the Marlins are tremendously overvalued all of a sudden. Just because a couple weeks go by and we saw them score a couple runs, all of a sudden they're going to be heavy favorites here over the Giants. I'm not buying that at all. But this didn't make the ticket, so I don't know why I'm spending too much time talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the Giants in this spot whatsoever. Logan Webb, yes, he is in need of a good start. So I just don't really like your SGP. I think there's a chance this is like a 3-1 game. So I don't really like the whole over angle there. The Giants, through 162 at-bats thus far, are dead last in WRC+, WOBA, OPS against left-handed pitchers. That's why I'm going Giants first 5 team total under 1.5, minus 125. You can get that on DraftKings. Luzardo owns an insane 423 OPS and 143 opposing batting average against this lineup through 21 at-bats, and he has yet to allow a run through the first 5, 15 innings of work, 0 runs allowed through the first 5. I think there's no reason that he shouldn't continue churning today.
All right. I mean, that's probably better value than mine. Next. All right. Public heavy on the Phillies here. I want to bring this up real quick. Oh, my God. Wrong game.
Postponed.
Yeah, no. It's the wrong. Damn it. I have the pie chart for that one, too. It's right here. You know what? Let me take 2 seconds and get it up. It'll take 2 seconds. Rangers at Royals.
Yeah, this is a rematch of their game from last week. Texas won that one 8-5, but that game went to extras despite Jordan Lyles getting touched up there. DeGrom held them to 2 runs through 7 innings of work, but he did allow 7 hits. So just giving a little bit of preface on that while you...
No, I closed it in Photoshop, so it would take me like 2 minutes to get it back. Damn it. Yeah. Whatever. I have the rest of them. So, yeah, I took KC plus 1.5 in this one at plus 105. Let me write it on the screen first. There we go. DeGrom, I mean, his numbers aren't even that crazy looking. He's certainly pitching fine, but I think he's definitely overvalued right now. Nowhere near to the Jacob DeGrom, nowhere near to what people expect to see when they see his name on the bump. This is a repeat matchup from last week, which I believe you just said. Rangers won that game 8-5 in extra innings, but that game was in Texas. DeGrom pitched great, Lyles didn't, and it still went to extra innings. I think Lyles last year, I know he was on a different team, he was in Baltimore. Lyles last year pitched well at home. I think he'll pitch a lot better in this one, and I think DeGrom on the road is more likely to get hit. Now, I'm not going to say Royals are going to hit up DeGrom, but maybe score 2 or 3 on him. It's more I like Lyles in this spot, and I think this is a great value. Plus 105, catching the 1.5.
Yeah, I'm just going with the Royals money line straight up. Sunday night baseball fade is working in our effect. On top of that, it's a repeat matchup, where, as we said, Texas won the first one, so that would also be a lean towards KC. I thought it was interesting that they brought the line down from minus 285 from the first game to minus 210 for the second game. I think the books are saying a little something there, especially with that line dropping from where it opened. And mostly what I think this is that I think the KC bats are struggling right now to generate runs, but they are getting hits. We've seen them lately with 7, 8, 9 hits in games where they're only scoring 2 runs. They got 7 hits off the ground last time. We just need them to make better contact with the pitcher they just saw, and they could generate 2 to 3 runs here. Jordan Lyles, yes, we said he's better at home. And on top of that, he got rocked earlier in the Rangers start, but his 2 previous starts against the Rangers, he allowed just 2 runs through 13 innings of work, so he has had success against them. Without Seager on travel, they may be a bit vulnerable. And if you're looking at their numbers against right-handed pitchers over the last 2 weeks, instead of on a season long-term, well, they're actually quite equal. They're sitting 13th and 15th in most categories. So we're getting the big plus price with even bats right now with Seager out. So I like the Royals.
Yo, you're getting accused of being stoned on air.
No, I was up till 4 a.m. last night looking at this slate. I'm very sorry, guys.
No, I can vouch for Prop Beaver. He doesn't smoke weed during the day anymore.
And I go ham on the slates.
He gets high on slates.
Yeah, that's fine.
Diamondbacks at Cardinals. I do have the pie charts for this one. 1 second. Should pop up right now. There we go. All right, so you can see Sharp Action hammered the D-backs early. And this price, I wrote down pass because the price is just sketchy to get the Diamondbacks as such huge dogs. They're playing so much better than the Cardinals. And Flaherty, I mean, I guess his numbers look good, but every single person I talk to that I trust that knows baseball is like, this guy sucks. And we're getting Merrill Kelly at this plus price. So obviously, I'll put D-backs or pass on the screen. The only reason I'm not saying D-backs is the price scares me.
Yeah, so I'm going with the D-backs first 5 money line in this one at plus 120. The price has continued to drop since that Goldschmidt news happened, so it seems the books are a little scared about that. And ultimately, I just refuse to back St. Louis's bats right now. I mean, I feel that a lot of people are using season-long stats and getting misled with the St. Louis team. They started off on a kill spree in their first 4 games against right-handed pitchers, lighting them up left and right. But in the 9 games that have followed against starting right-handed pitchers, they are 30th in WRC+, 30th in OPS, and 28th in ISO against right-handed pitchers through the first 5. We saw Merrill Kelly go into St. Louis last year and hold them to just 1 run. And through 2 starts against the St. Louis Cardinals in 2022, he won the first 5 both times. Flaherty's been decent thus far, but there is some weaknesses there. If you look at his numbers against left-handed batters thus far, very important because the Diamondbacks are left-handed batter heavy. It's a 348 WOBA, 1.2 home runs allowed per 9, a 1.57 whip, and a 5.98 FIP. That's quite bad. I'm just going to take the Diamondbacks to keep rolling here. I mean, simply put, the Cardinals are just not a team I want to put my money on until they prove something to me.
Yeah, but you said you don't trust the Diamondbacks bullpen. That's why you're sticking to the first 5.
Yes, I think that's the book's angle here in terms of collecting all that money. We saw, I think, a few times in that Brewers series where the starting pitchers would do a phenomenal job, all for the bullpen to come in and just mess things up, and they wind up losing the game. So I think that might be the book's angle with this one. Cardinals bullpen has a significant edge, so let's limit it to the first 5.
Sounds good. Next, Gausman and Javier. I'm gonna let you talk for this one. This is one of those where it's like, if you're capping this based on what we've seen so far this year, then you have to take Toronto at this price. But obviously, we know how good this Houston team is capable of being, and we also know how good Christian Javier is capable of being. Even though the numbers don't necessarily, he hasn't been terrible though. Javier, he hasn't been terrible.
He hasn't been terrible. He just hasn't been like the Cy Young candidate.
Right, exactly. So, also the other edge I saw was Blue Jays lineup has much better numbers against right-handed pitching, and this is a righty-righty matchup. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they're literally clowning the Astros in terms of numbers against right-handed pitchers. Yeah, Toronto money line -120. The Astros, not only coming off Sunday Night Baseball, but this team just does not look like themselves. They've dropped their last 8 of 13 games. Javier hasn't gotten off to that hot start, like we said. And on top of that, he struggled against Toronto in the past. His lone home start against them, he allowed 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 4 walks, and 4 hits through 5 innings of work. Current lineup owns a 1.172 OPS against them, along with a 15 home run percentage. That is pretty dreadful. And on the other side, we got Kevin Gausman, who looks unstoppable thus far. Kevin Gausman on the road is nasty. Even going back to last year, I would argue he's the best road pitcher in all of baseball. Now he's going to face an Astros lineup that he owns a 543 OPS against, a 164 opposing batting average. I think that he should do quite well here. The other thing that I like working for Gausman is the splits. The Astros start 7 right-handed batters in their lineup, and thus far on the season, Gausman has been elite against righties, holding them to a 202 WOBA. Adding the fact that the Jays pen has a slight advantage, and I got to roll with the Blue Jays here.
I just made the pie charts big so everyone could see it. I know the line movement might be scaring some people, but the line's moving in reaction to the sharp money. Early sharps were all over Houston. That was what dropping the line, so don't let that scare you off. Where the hell did it go? All right, whatever. Next. All right, Pirates at Rockies. You know what? I have this these pie charts too. Let me bring them onto the screen.
You already know what the vibe is. Rich Hill is entering Coors. Not much else needs to be said.
Rich Hill. Yeah, for real. I don't know. I mean, I'm hesitant to back any team that starts a lefty in Coors, let alone Rich Hill. Oh.
Yeah.
But I also, it pains me a little because I'm starting to take a liking to this Pirate squad.
Mm-hmm.
But I already know we're on the same, we have the same bet for this one, and that wasn't even through talking to each other. We just happened to be on the same exact bet. Colorado first 5 run line. Kyle Freeland, say what you want about him. He has nice looking numbers, and he's certainly much more comfortable pitching at Coors Field than Rich Hill. Rich Hill might be the worst pitcher in baseball to start in Coors Field. Seriously.
It's a literal nightmare.
Yeah, it's terrible. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if the Rockies have less than 4 runs at the end of 5 innings. I'd be very surprised. So, you could go Rockies team total over, Rockies first 5 team total over. But I think the safest way is just to play first 5 run line, because there's also a chance that Freeland deals. I know the Pirates lineup definitely scares me a little bit. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say. The Pirates lineup scares me, but yeah. So go ahead, Prop Beaver. I know you're on the same thing as me though.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the Rockies' first 5 run here. Freeland has looked awesome this year, significantly better than he ever has throughout his career, and he's done it against some pretty decent competition. I mean, when I say the word Nationals, you're going to be like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? But the Nats are top 10 against lefties in both K percentage and WRC plus thus far. They've been really good, and he also faced the Cardinals at home, and he shut them down, essentially, holding them to just 2 runs at Coors. That's a really good outing. And on top of that, they're another team that's top 10 against lefties. They were number 1 last year, and they're also top 10 in K percentage. So those were 2 rough matchups for him. He won both matchups, and now he's going to face a Pirates team that I think is just much weaker against left-handed pitching. Over the last 2 weeks, those bats have definitely slowed down, and they're bottom 8 against left-handed pitching in WRC plus over those last 2 weeks. The Rockies' bats do truly suck, but if there is a place to back them, you got to back them at home against the lefty, and Rich Hill is both decrepit and not good. After 3 starts, Rich Hill's rocking an 8.8 expected ERA, allowing 3.6 home runs per 9. and an 18.9 barrel percentage. That is unholy. That means 1/5 of the balls that are making contact are getting absolutely smacked to oblivion. Through 5 career starts at Coors, the guy owns a 7.18 ERA. I like the Rockies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you could also go Rockies first 5 team total if you don't fully trust Freeland, but I think he's given us enough evidence to put our faith in him in this spot.
I thought Freeland really looked good down the stretch last year, but his problem has always been pitching at Coors. But this year, he's looked really good at Coors. So if he could do that, I mean, this guy's a guy that we should definitely look to back.
Only the Colorado Rockies would have their ace, a guy whose biggest problem is pitching at Coors Field.
Well, that's the problem with their team in general.
I think the Padres are going to win this game. Beaver disagrees. When I told him I was on the Padres, about an hour ago, he said, and I quote, "No, I'm done."
Yeah. Oh, I am. I'm done with what the Padres have done to us. They've the Padres have now lost us 5 or 6 bets. We backed them in perfect spots. I'm just good with that team. They're too inconsistent. I've had enough.
Well, I like them, but the only thing that scares me is the Braves' numbers against lefties. Wow, they're really good, and obviously with Mr. Weathers pitching, it's a little alarming. But I think, all I saw on Twitter and everything was how terrible this guy Weathers is, and I'm just not seeing that reflect in his numbers. He looks all right. Braves bullpen's missing a big piece tonight, Nick Anderson. Their closer just pitched last night, but he only threw 10 pitches, so that's probably a non-factor. Max Fried coming off the injury. He hasn't pitched since that was opening day when he got hurt, right?
Yes.
So he hasn't pitched since opening day. On the road against a Padres lineup that's capable of doing damage. I think it's a good spot to take San Diego. I also looked at San Diego first 5 money line. Thought I could get it at a great price because it's Weathers versus Fried, and of course the public's going to be all over Fried, but it actually wasn't as good as a price as I thought. So I'm going to take the full game money line with the Braves missing their closer. Yeah, not their closer. They're missing their eighth inning guy.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, this is going to be a big one for me in terms of Weathers. I mean, I'm going to pass, but if Weathers shows up here, then maybe I'm bought in a little bit on Weathers because the first 2 outings, that was against the Mets, who struggle against left-handed pitching, and the Diamondbacks on the road, who bats are much worse, and it was against a left-handed pitcher, so it was their worst spot. If he could show up tonight against the Atlanta Braves, I will be on Mr. Ryan Weathers' side. I don't think that will happen.
You want to hear what's funny? I wrote in my notes David Weathers.
Jesus Christ.
Ryan Weathers. I'm still in basketball mode. That's why I'm a little out of it, because I did all these notes a few hours ago.
We're in the complete opposite way. If people have been DMing me about NBA stuff, I'm like, dude, I have no clue.
Well, no, it's just I was preparing for the NBA show up till about 10 minutes before I went live. So then I'm looking at these baseball. I was like, shit, what did I write for this? This is 2 hours ago. Usually it's fresh in my brain when we go live because I was just doing it. And this is a little bit different for me. But all right, next, game 9 is Cubs at A's. Let me get the pie charts up for this one.
This is your play that went on the ticket. Did not veto it. I think you got a good angle here. Let's see. I'm hoping that Wesneski still stinks it up.
Yeah. This is me. This one was all me, and this is good money. Take it to the bank. Nah, I would never say some shit like that. But hold on, sorry, taking a second with this pie chart. This is game 9. Yo, get out of here, LeBron. There we go. LeBron's fucking with the wires down by my feet. All right, so I am on Oakland here. And, well, actually, more importantly, I'm on the over. I think the over... I
was going to say, bro, what? I was when you called me, you said the over.
I'm on over and Oakland money line. I mean, the line movement tells you one thing. Look at this line dropping despite the public being all over the Cubs. These two teams' bullpens are absolutely wrecked tonight. Both teams missing their closer. Both teams also missing a significant other piece, whether it's an 8th inning guy, 7th inning guy. So both teams missing 2 of their most important bullpen pieces tonight. The guy pitching for the Cubs is named Wesneski. Yeah, they should get to him. I know it's Oakland, but they should get to him. And then on the other side, you have Kyle Muller, who's actually pretty solid, but the Cubs have great numbers against left-handed pitching. I think both starters get hit, and then when it goes to the bullpen, I think everyone in the bullpen gets hit. They're both razor thin. This number's only at 8. With the way this MLB season has been going so far, I'm going to take the over, and I like Oakland to win. I like the line movement. I like how the public's all over the Cubs, despite missing those pieces in the bullpen. LeBron is my cat. Who is LeBron? Yeah. LeBron's my cat, and he's a piece of shit.
That he is.
So, yeah, I just think a lot of runs, specifically on the Oakland side, but I think the Cubs will score runs, too. That's why I really like over 8. If you're just going to bet one, bet over 8. But I'm probably going to do an SGP with both of these. Came out to be like plus 379 or something. I like both of these to happen.
The only reason I'm getting there with you on that over is because the A's, if you rewind before that Bruto and that Carrasco start against them, they were smashing right-handed pitching. And Hayden Wesneski, he was a guy that from last season, I personally projected him to be a good starter this year. But all of a sudden, I was looking at some of these projection companies like Steamers and Zips and all those things like that, and they projected him to be much worse. So it looks like that is what's happening right now because he does not look good. He looks actually pretty horrible with a 10.78 expected ERA, a 17% walk rate, 4.5 home runs allowed per 9, 2.83 whip. I mean, this guy.
Wait, did you say 4.9 home runs allowed per 9?
4.5 home runs allowed per 9 innings, yes.
What would an average MLB starter have, 2 or 3?
1.1.
Shut the fuck up.
I mean, if you're a good starter, it's going to be under 1. If you're bad, it's going to be around 1.6.
4.5.
He's at 4.5.
This guy's throwing batting practice out there.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't trust him at all. That's why I passed on this game, ultimately. And then on the other side, you got Muller. I really do like Muller, but, I mean, they just got 3 runs off of Perez and Urias, who are studs. Muller is not exactly that level of talent, so they should be able to get runs. And then the favorite part of this bet for me is what you brought up, those 2 weakened bullpens right now. The A's bullpen's already atrocious.
I know.
So you take some key guys out, and that's a mess. And then on the other side, the Cubs do have a good bullpen, but when all of their good guys went, essentially, they're going to be quite vulnerable. So I like the angle.
Cool. 2 games remaining. Oh, this is the one we both skipped. Brewers.
It was just too square. It's what am I going to just take the Brewers first 5 run line? It seems so
I
easy.
feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't we cashed twice already fading Corbin Burns? Aren't we 2 for 2 fading him?
We're actually 3-0 considering
3.
The second time we took a total
strictly
because we thought he was going to get hit up. So we're 3-0 fading him. But last start, we shouldn't have won. We got very lucky because Merrill Kelly pitched his ass off. He was on one against the Diamondbacks, who at home, I don't know if they've scored less than 4 runs so far, and they held them to I think it was 0 runs. He held them 2 through 8 innings. Aaron's bats just got shut down by a literal nobody yesterday, so that's a bit concerning. Would rather just pass.
I'm bringing the pie charts up so at least people can see something because it's kind of a cop out that we both pass. Yeah, Sharp's all just like Beaver said, everyone's all over Milwaukee. Line even actually not a ton of line movement from this morning.
Yeah, not very much budge, which kind of makes me worry.
Depending on how this night's going, this game's at 9:40 p.m., right?
Yeah.
Depending on how this night's going and how the Sixers do, I may throw a few dollars on Seattle. We'll see. If the Sixers don't cover, though, we'll get to that in a second. But if the Sixers aren't covering, I'm going to be pissed and I'm not betting it.
Toast, I see what you're saying. He allowed 2 home runs in Cincy, but then I have to check the game logs. But didn't he allow an unholy amount of home runs in that start against the Mariners?
An unholy amount? How many home runs is an unholy amount?
Anything more than 2 is pretty unholy.
He's given up 3 home runs in 6 innings.
Oh, okay. So he didn't allow... Oh, well, I mean, he didn't make it past...
He gave up 1 home run in an inning and a third in Seattle. Oh, man. He got rocked. That was at home, too, in Chicago.
Oh, Nelly.
Toast is a Wesneski supporter, I see.
I want to be on Wesneski's side, but he burned me twice now. Listen, I'm done with guy.
Fool me once.
Yeah.
Let me get the pie charts up for Dodgers. This one, I I wrote Mets or pass. I think Prop Beaver actually likes the Mets though, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I think we're catching the Dodgers in a bit of a vulnerable spot here. So I like the Mets money line. Dustin May, obviously an animal. That hurts the bet. No, but let's focus on the Dodgers lineup and the bullpen here. The Dodgers lineup, while potent, has struggled against left-handed pitchers. The last 3 lefties to face them, Steele, Smiley, and Wood, combined for a 1.55 ERA and a 0.81 WHIP. Their opponent won all 3 times. Peterson is inconsistent, but when he's on, he is on. And coming off an impressive 5.2 innings pitched, 2 earned run performance against Milwaukee, I think he could carry some of that momentum into tonight's game. And not only that, but this is the other angle that's really working for us. The Dodgers bullpen has looked like a goddamn mess. On the season, they're 28th in WOBA, 24th in ERA, 24th in home runs allowed, and 28th in BABIP. On the other side, we got a Mets bullpen who's been amongst the top 10 in most categories over the last 2 weeks, with Robertson and Ottavino catching their strides. Mets are much better against right-handed pitchers, and with all the money and the bets on the Dodgers at the time I had written this, a little budge on the line, I like the dog here. Thankfully, there has been budge on that line. The Mets are now down to about plus 130, plus 125.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that. Let me check what it's at right now.
The best odds that we put it at on the ticket was plus 132.
Plus 132, right, on FanDuel. All right. So that's supposed to say, well, I'll just correct it real quick. Do you have a K parlay to give out?
No, I actually switched it up. I wrote on the ticket yesterday that I'm horrible at K parlays. So I changed it up. I got a hit parlay I could give out. Let's do a little hit parlay.
That's Toast Stick. You're stealing his shtick.
I know I am stealing a stick. It's kind of sad, but I'm rolling with it. I got the hit parlay going. It's a little discreet, this one. We're going with Marcus Semien. That's the most obvious leg to hit a hit. 1+ hit there.
All right.
Charlie Blackmon to record a hit.
Yep.
Andrew McCutchen to record a hit.
Yep.
And the sneakiest of them all, Mark Canha to record a hit. Plus 251.
That doesn't seem like a great payout for all that.
Well, listen, bro. I don't know what you want me to tell you. You asked for a hit parlay. I created a hit
I
parlay.
didn't ask you for a hit parlay. I didn't ask you for a hit parlay. You're imagining shit. I mean, Semien, I feel like always gets a hit. Like Mark Canha. What is Mark Canha to record a hit just on its own?
Minus 150.
Is it really?
Yep.
Jesus. All right. So I am going to shut this down, and then I'm going live though I'm going to be offline for about 30 seconds, just switching over to NBA. So I believe you can click right on my page. I don't know. I've never done this before. We'll see if it works. So I'll be right back. You're coming over right now, AJ?
Yeah, I'm about to head over.
All right. So it's just going to be me, and we'll run through. There's only 2 NBA games. We'll run through them real quick. All right. See you in 2 minutes.
Have a good night, Chiefs. Best of luck on the slate.